In 2022, a popular urban explorer from Manchester, UK, started a live stream while exploring an abandoned government building. Thousands of viewers watched as he walked through broken corridors, dark staircases, and sealed rooms. At first, everything looked normal, but then he discovered something strange. A door that was built backwards. The hinges were not on the outside. They were on the inside, which meant only one terrifying thing. That door was never meant to be opened from where he was standing. What happened next during that live stream shocked everyone watching. And according to the last recording saved online, no one has seen him since that night. This is the true story of the last live stream of the urban explorer who found the reverse door. In early October 2022, a 27-year-old urban explorer named Zephyr Calder-Wick started gaining attention online. Zephyr was known for exploring abandoned places across the United Kingdom. He live-streamed everything. Old hospitals, empty factories, forgotten subway tunnels. His followers liked him because he never faked anything. Everything was raw, unedited, and real. One night, Zephyr announced something different. He told his viewers he had discovered an abandoned government archive building outside Manchester. The place had been sealed for years after a mysterious fire in the early 1990s. The livestream started at 1:12 a.m. The camera showed Zephyr standing outside a huge concrete building surrounded by rusted fences and dead trees. The sky was dark and fog was moving slowly across the ground. He smiled into the camera. "Tonight might be the creepiest place I've ever explored." Inside, the building looked worse than expected. The hallways were narrow and filled with dust. Old filing cabinets were knocked over everywhere. The walls were stained black from smoke damage. Zephyr kept walking deeper into the building while talking to his viewers. At first, the chat was normal. People were joking, asking questions, and telling him to check certain rooms. Then he reached the third floor. This floor was different. Unlike the lower levels, the doors here were all sealed shut with metal bars. The windows were covered with thick steel plates from the inside. Zephyr laughed nervously. "That's weird. Why seal the inside like this?" He pushed one of the doors, but it didn't move. Then something strange happened. His flashlight flickered. For a few seconds the hallway became almost completely dark. When the light came back, Zephyr noticed something at the end of the corridor. A single door. Unlike the others, this door wasn't sealed. It was slightly open. The viewers in the chat immediately started reacting. People were typing things like, "Don't go there," and "Something feels wrong." Zephyr slowly walked toward the door. The closer he got, the quieter he became. Finally he stood right in front of it. The door looked extremely old, almost like it had been installed decades before the rest of the building. The paint was peeling and the metal handle was covered with rust. But what really caught his attention was something else. Zephyr moved the camera closer to the hinges. Then he whispered something that made the chat explode with messages. "The hinges, they're on the wrong side." He stepped back and looked at the door again. From where he was standing, the hinges should have been visible if the door opened toward him. But they weren't. Instead, the hinges were on the inside of the frame, which meant the door had been designed to open from the other side, not from where Zephyr was standing. He laughed awkwardly. "Okay, that's actually really creepy." The chat began filling with warnings. Some viewers told him to leave. Others said it looked like some kind of containment door. But Zephyr was curious. He gently pushed the door. It moved. The door opened slowly with a deep scraping sound that echoed through the empty hallway. Behind it was a narrow staircase going downward. The stairs were concrete and covered in thick dust, as if no one had walked there in decades. Zephyr pointed the camera down the staircase. "All right, chat. This was not on the building map I found." The flashlight beam barely reached the bottom. It was too dark, too deep. But something else made Zephyr pause. The dust on the first few steps looked disturbed, like something had recently walked up from below. Zephyr stood there quietly for almost 10 seconds. Then he said something strange. "I can hear something down there." The livestream microphone picked up a faint sound. It almost sounded like slow breathing. The chat exploded again. Thousands of viewers were typing the same message. "Close the door." But Zephyr didn't. Instead, he slowly stepped onto the staircase. And that was when the first truly terrifying thing happened. Because as soon as he stepped down the third step, the door behind him slowly closed by itself. The door slammed shut behind Zephyr with a heavy metallic sound. For a moment he froze on the staircase. The camera shook slightly as he slowly turned around. "Okay, that's not funny." He walked back up the 3 steps and tried to pull the door open. It didn't move. He pulled harder. Still nothing. The chat began filling with worried messages. Some viewers told him to stay calm. Others begged him to keep trying the door. Zephyr stepped back and took a deep breath. "All right, maybe it locks automatically." He turned around and pointed the camera down the staircase again. The darkness below seemed deeper than before. The breathing sound was still there. Slow. Heavy. But now it sounded closer. Zephyr whispered quietly. "Did you guys hear that?" The livestream microphone clearly picked it up. A faint inhale. Then a long exhale. Zephyr stood completely still. Then he slowly began walking down the staircase. Each step echoed through the narrow stairwell. The deeper he went, the colder the air became. After about 20 steps, the stairs finally ended. He stepped into a large underground corridor. The walls were concrete, and long metal pipes ran across the ceiling. Old industrial lights hung overhead, but none of them worked. The only light was Zephyr's flashlight. He slowly moved the beam across the hallway. Then he noticed something disturbing. There were doors along both sides of the corridor. But every door had been welded shut from the outside. Large metal plates covered the handles. Zephyr spoke quietly. Why would they seal these rooms from the outside? He approached one of the doors and pointed the camera closer. Scratches covered the metal. Deep scratches. As if something inside had tried desperately to get out. The chat started moving so fast it was impossible to read everything. Some viewers were telling him to leave immediately. Others thought it was an old containment facility. Zephyr continued walking slowly down the corridor. The breathing sound grew louder. Not from behind him. Not from above. From somewhere ahead of him. Then he saw something on the floor. Footprints. But they weren't normal. The dust showed bare footprints, long and thin, almost human, but slightly too large. They led deeper into the hallway. Zephyr whispered, "Someone's been down here." The footprints suddenly stopped at a large metal door at the end of the corridor. Unlike the others, this one was not welded shut. Instead, it was slightly open. Just like the door upstairs. Zephyr hesitated. The breathing sound was now clearly coming from behind that door. He slowly pushed it open. The flashlight revealed a huge underground chamber. The room looked like an old observation area. Broken glass panels lined the walls, and rusted medical equipment was scattered everywhere. But something else stood in the middle of the room. A large metal cage. The cage door was wide open. Zephyr slowly walked closer. His breathing became louder on the microphone. Inside the cage, the floor was covered in deep scratch marks. Something had clearly been trapped there for a very long time. And then, the live stream audio captured something terrifying. A voice. Soft. Distorted. Right behind Zephyr. "You opened it." Zephyr spun around instantly. The camera light swung wildly across the room. But there was nothing there. The chat exploded. Thousands of viewers were typing the same message. Run! Zephyr backed away from the cage. Then the breathing sounds suddenly stopped. The silence became heavy. Too quiet. Then the live stream camera captured movement. At the far end of the room, behind Zephyr, something tall and thin slowly stepped out of the darkness. Its arms were unnaturally long. Its skin looked pale and stretched. And its face. The camera barely caught it. But viewers later said the face looked almost human. Just twisted. Like it had forgotten how to be one. Zephyr still hadn't seen it yet. He kept looking toward the staircase. Then the livestream audio picked up the voice again. Closer this time. Thank you. Zephyr slowly turned around. The camera froze on the creature for less than 1 second. Then the livestream feed violently shook. Zephyr screamed. The flashlight dropped. The camera hit the ground. For the next 10 seconds, viewers heard only footsteps struggling and something dragging across the concrete floor. Then silence. The camera remained pointed toward the open cage. 30 seconds passed. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Then the live stream ended. The recording was later saved by several viewers. Authorities reportedly investigated the building weeks later. But according to the report that leaked online, the underground corridor was real. The staircase was real. But the large chamber at the end was completely empty. No cage, no scratches, and no sign of Zephyr Calderwick. The only thing investigators found was his camera, still recording, facing a door that had hinges on the inside. If this story gave you chills, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more real horror stories and unexplained paranormal events. And if you have ever experienced something strange in an abandoned place, or something you still cannot explain, share your experience in the comments section. Someone out there might have experienced the same thing. And don't forget to share this video with friends who enjoy true scary stories and paranormal mysteries. Because sometimes, the scariest stories are the ones that might actually be real.